Alright, it's time for the return of Hiru reads Askreddit threads on Reddit. This is. It's been a very long time since I've last done one of these. Lots of reasons why. I kind of want to leave these videos as something you can just pick up and watch, so I might go into it at the end if I remember. I really don't want to start these videos with too much talking that doesn't have to do with the topic, which is people always say there are no stupid questions, but what is the stupidest question you've heard slash been asked? Do you have parents? Oh, wait, do your parents have any kids? And that's how I found out I was adopted. Man, I'm messing up all these words today. Do your parents have any kids? If you're adopted, I guess. About 1 mile into a cave system with a group of friends, and I had to stop to take a break. It was around 10 p.m. at night, so very dark when we entered the cave. One stopped, the youngest of us, 23-year-old dude, college degree, asked quite seriously if we can leave and come back in the morning so we can see better. Well, yes, but I couldn't even muster up that much in the form of an answer. We spent a solid 5 to 7 minutes explaining to him before it finally clicked with him. If you're underground in a cave, having outside light's not gonna help. Is what I assume the confusion is for that. Mine is a series of questions. Coworker, I have to send this envelope to Africa. Do you know how much it will cost? Me, sure, I'll look into it. What country are you sending it to? Africa. What country in Africa? I don't understand what you're asking. It's going to Africa. Yes, but what particular country? Africa is a continent. I'll just figure it out myself. 10 minutes later, all I could find is pricing for South Africa. Is that the same as Africa? South Africa is a country in Africa. Is it going to South Africa? I don't know. It's supposed to go to Africa. How did this end? Do you know what country it ended up being? Did your coworker learn what Africa is? It ended up having to go to Seychelles. Eventually, I just made a call to the main person who was sending it and just bypassed the coworker. To this day, I don't know if he knows the difference between a country and a continent. You see, that's what I would probably do. I would have explained very slowly the difference between a country and a continent. Oh, but I think I have more experience dealing with stupid people. Why do people still use solar panels? It's pretty fucked up. She thought solar panels were stealing the sun's energy. Well, the sun will never get that energy back. That's funny to think we could steal the sun's energy. I don't think people really understand just how big the sun really is. If my car is rear wheel drive, then why do I need the wheels in the front? Snowmobile. This one frequently bamboozled me when I was but a wee lad of 5. Why do car commercials say they have 4-wheel drive? Don't all cars drive on 4 wheels? Where are your life-size lamps? You're standing on our only one. But these are globes of the whole world. I wanted a globe of Salford. I don't get it. On the island of Maui, tourists ask, does the water go all the way around the island? The concept of an island can be difficult to grasp. You just need bigger hands. We were on a vacation at the seashore, doing some cardio training on the beach. One of the guys got kind of winded and asked, damn, I wonder what the altitude is here. Sea level. I mean, is there sea levels that are below sea level? I don't think so, now that I think about it. I was like, wait, maybe they were at a very high altitude for sea level, and then I thought, oh, no, I'm pretty sure sea level stays the same everywhere, and that kind of defines sea level. I never really thought of it before. Maybe that particular sea is at a higher altitude. The high seas, obviously. Was on a whitewater rafting trip in Massachusetts with a friend. Chatty women sitting behind us struck up a conversation during a calm stretch and asked where we were from. Told her Vancouver, BC. She said it must be nice for us spending some time... She said it must be nice for us to be spending time on the water because you probably don't have beaches or anything like this in Vancouver, do you? Well, actually, we're on the Pacific coast, so beaches are practically our backyard. Oh, the Pacific? Is that salt water? I caught a glimpse of her homespun face as I tried to answer without laughing. He looked like he was rethinking all of his life decisions. He married her when she was hot and dumb. Now she's just dumb. In fairness, though, her hotness faded. Her stupidity actually increased. Well, maybe she didn't know all oceans were saltwater. I was asked if the bus ride from Texas to Hawaii was going to be long. Depends on how many swimming lessons your bus has taken. I guess. Might be a good idea to bring fins in case you have to get out and help kick. Broke 2 bones in my back playing football. Walking down the hall at school the next week with a brace. Girl, what happened? Me. Oh, I broke 2 bones in my back. Girl, are you paralyzed? I can see this as a reasonable brain fart. We associate broken spines with paralysis pretty strongly. That's what I would ask if I hadn't seen them walking, I'd guess. Are your boobs big because you're Italian? And Italians eat lots of pasta, which fills your boobs up with air? What? Oh, was this question asked by an 8-year-old? Pretty out there. I mean, right? That sounds like something a kid would ask. Colleague, when you can see the sun and the moon at the same time, is it reflection from the sea in space? After some investigating, I realized that she thought the sun and the moon were the same thing. But the moon was just not on fire at night. Huh. Well, that has to be one of the most amazingly stupid theories I've ever read. When I worked in a bar, what's in vodka and Red Bull? Customer reading signs that says pepperoni mushroom. What kind of pizza is this? That's pepperoni and mushroom. Yeah, but what's in it? Pepperoni and mushroom? Ugh, never mind. That sounds like something a customer would ask. The 9th grade bio after learning about stem cells and how unborn fetuses have a lot of them. So, if a pregnant woman ate a dolphin, would her baby come out as a dolphin? I seriously wish I was joking. Ow. I mean, 9th grade, that's not that bad of a question. In my 9th grade class, someone asked, what's World War II? Except she didn't say World War II, she said WWII. I usually hear it as World War 11. It's so intense that it skipped the 9 other world wars. On a map, is the blue part of the water or the sky? Is the blue part the water or the sky? Oh, I get it. Why do meteors always land in craters? I think they meant meteorites. Okay, why do meteors always land in meteorites? Is a broken arm contagious? If you ask me more than one time, yes. Joseph Stalin, is that the Beatles guy? The entire class just went dead silent for 5 seconds and we all stared at her. Then the teacher finally says, no. This was a junior/senior class. How'd a girl in college say about Stalin? Well, he's dropping bombs on ISIS right now, so he's okay in my book. No. I guess he was confusing Stalin with Putin or something. There are communist militias fighting ISIS, but assuming she heard about that and just somehow got confused would probably be giving her way too much credit. In high school, junior year, during a group project, I've cut a silhouette of the American continent and I asked a teammate to glue it to the center of a blue piece of cardboard. She asked, which way is up? I laughed loudly and replied, good one. She becomes visibly upset and says, not everyone can be as smart as you. Then I stopped laughing and said, wait, you're serious? Then she stormed off and slammed the classroom door. Oh, wait, you're serious? Let me laugh harder. Oh, Futurama. Joke's on you. She was referring to the piece of blue cardboard. When was the War of 1812? Better yet, was the response from her friend. I think early 1900s? Close. I made a joke. Wait, the War of 1812. Isn't that the one where they burned down the White House? I think so. That's all I know about it. I made a joke about hitchhiking to Alaska. My manager, oh, that'll work. What are you going to take, a ferry? Me, there's a major highway that goes there. Did they build a bridge? The fuck are you talking about, dude? Is Alaska not an island next to Hawaii? Oh my god. Is Alaska not an island next to Hawaii? Some guy also thought a trapezoid was a Pokemon and shouted Jimi Hendrix when we were talking about our favorite presidents. Christ. That's a... You see, I get this because usually when they show the United States, they'll have the main continent, I mean, where like all the 48 states are connected. And then in like the bottom corner, they'll have a thing of Alaska and Hawaii, since they're not technically attached to all the other states. That's where I could understand the confusion. But usually when they show Alaska, it's like connected to Canada next to it. But I mean, some of them don't. Some of them just show Alaska and they don't show Canada attached to it. So I mean, it's not that far. If I can understand immediately why he would think that. But it's funny that I never actually understood that Alaska wasn't an island. A cruise director friend of mine has a great list. Does this elevator go to the front of the ship? What time is the midnight buffet? If I swim down far enough, can I swim under the island? Oh, that's right. Some people think islands are like floating things in the middle of the ocean. What do fish drink? What do fish drink isn't a stupid question, and it doesn't have a trivial answer. Mammals can't drink seawater. So it's not dumb to assume fish might have the same problem. In fact, it's a correct assumption. Now, for an even more difficult and fascinating question, what do whales drink? I'm not clicking on these. The article you linked to is far too long for me to read, so I'm just going to assume it said Scotch. Whales drink cheap Scotch because of their gambling habits. I don't get it. Person walks in. Hey, I need some tech support. I pause for a moment. For what? Instagram. I'm police dispatch. Show us where they hurt you with the memes and we'll catch the perps. Unrelated. Did you know YouTube's demonetizing videos for having the Pepe meme in them? I think I heard. Funny that that's become a Nazi symbol. High school history class in the 90s. The teacher shows a picture of Columbus's 3 ships. 15-year-old girl asks, what are those white things on top of the ship? The teacher explains that they are sails used to catch the wind and move the ship. Girl replies, that's stupid. Why didn't they just use motors? The teacher and most everyone in the class proceeded to facepalm. Middle school cheerleader in my class asked why they didn't just fly. That would be fucking sick though. Flying galleons of Napoleonic fleet. Imagine it. How do you spell VCR? VCR. VICIR. I have owned this car a while now. What am I supposed to use the third pedal to the left for? I just hold it halfway down and it allows the car to go. That was painful to read. I could smell it. Possible they're referring to the emergency brake in some cars? At least, I hope so. A lot of my cars have their e-brakes as a third pedal. Regardless, rip to the clutch. See, that's what I was thinking. Is like, is it... It's not a clutch, because you wouldn't be able to drive the car if you didn't know how to use it. As someone whose first car was a manual, I know how to drive those very well. But there's also cars where that's just where the emergency brake is located. So I was thinking, wait, emergency brake? Oh. Ooh. I could smell it. Yeah, it was probably burning his brakes. I work in nursery in Canada and customers are looking at a maple tree. I walked up and she asked me, what happens to the leaves in the winter? I stared at her for a moment before saying, well, ma'am, it's a deciduous tree, so the leaves fall off each winter and grow back in the spring. She considered this for a moment before saying, sounds like there's not much to look at for half the year. Then, do you have any other trees with nice big leaves like this that don't fall off? I started to suggest some evergreens, but she cut me off with, no, not Christmas trees. I hate those ugly needles. I want big leaves like the maples that don't fall off. She was completely serious and had no accent or anything about her that would indicate she wasn't from the region. Unfortunately, she is only one of many, many customers who have been surprised to learn that deciduous trees lose their leaves in fall, and there's nothing you can do about it. What's wrong with that? Several kinds of, I don't know if I'm saying this word right, deciduous trees are marcescents and keep their dead leaves until new ones grow on to replace them in spring. Uh-oh, my voice is drying out. How many more of these do I have? Quite a bit. Well, I'll just read the headlines and none of the following the child comments, because I need a drink of water. Worked at a museum once. Someone asked me if the woolly mammoth specimen we had on display was alive. The thing was remarkably well preserved, but not nearly that well preserved. Looked like a fairly recent desiccated baby elephant body. It turns out woolly mammoths were still alive back during the Civil War, the American Civil War. I think I heard some fact like they actually didn't die out that long ago because there was an island of them somewhere off the coast of Russia. I think like they didn't all go extinct in the Ice Age. Some of them were actually alive in modern-ish times, a couple hundred years ago. I think I'm saying all this, but I don't remember any sources for it, so I could be completely wrong, or maybe I read it up something that was a lie. How do you communicate with blind people? I'd assume you talk to them. I have a friend from high school who was a gold mine for these things. Now, she was genuinely a nice person and hella cute, but she didn't quite have it all up there upstairs. So my favorite things I had to explain to her over the years were why Oliver has a button for the floor we're already on, why there can be both a state and a country named Georgia, why the rental skates are still called hockey skates even though we aren't playing hockey, how the "you are here" dot on the mall directly knows where we are. This is like 12 years ago. Teenagers still hung out at malls back then. The last one I was actually unable to successfully get through to her on, so I resorted to telling her that it was security cameras they set up to prevent shoplifting. This answer seems satisfactory. I hope she's still cute and nice, because that's how she's gonna have to survive this life. Do teenagers not hang out in malls anymore? I assume they still did. I'm pretty sure they do here, because last time I went to the mall, there was a whole bunch of teenagers there. If the country's name is Wales, why does their flag have a dragon on it? Good question. Why do they? What do you mean 911 can't look up the number to Walmart on Main Street for me? That's what 911 is for. To serve and protect me. I pay your salary. No, Google, you jackass. People forget it exists these days, but he wanted to call for information. The number he wanted was 401, at least. I think the information line still exists. It does, but they charge you your phone bill for it. Much easier to use Google. I've posted this before, and it's sadly my own dumb question. I once asked, are hospitals even open on Sundays? It took me a minute to register what I said. Sorry, to be more clear, I'm in Canada and was talking about going to the ER. Well, I hope you wouldn't get in any accidents on Sunday. I once overheard my 11-year-old sister say to my mum, "Mum, how old were you when you were my age?" I'd assume 11. If I'm not allowed to drive there, then why is there a left side of the road? This acquaintance of mine was outraged that she had to appear in court for a driving citation that she didn't think she deserved. Why is there a left side of the road? What? Can you get drunk on red wine? I thought only white wine made you drunk. Spoken by an early 20s pharmacy student I worked with. She was hella book smart, but she severely lacked common sense. The myth of common sense. One of my students. What was Hitler's last name? Wasn't his last name Hitler? Adolf Hitler? Some lady asked my friend about her kids' ages. My friend replied, "This one is 8 and this one is 5. Then the lady proceeded to ask, "Are they twins?" I don't think so. I was crossing the Canadian/US border and the guard asked me if I was a Canadian citizen. I said yes and handed him my passport. He looked at my license plate and asked, "If you're from Canada, why does your license plate say Manitoba?" It took me a minute to realize he was being serious. Told him that Manitoba was a province in Canada. Silently marveled at his stupidity and moved on. You'd think someone who works at the border would know stuff like that. I asked someone to melt butter in the microwave. He asked me if 10 minutes would be enough. Yes. In his defense, you don't state that you wanted any melted butter to remain in the bowl. Me, I haven't been in a hospital since I was 16 and got hit by a car. Oh my god, did you die? Yes. Yes, I did. What is Mick Jagger's first name? When in U.S. history lecture hall, I had a classmate raise her hand and ask if it was still legal to lynch black people. It was 2013. Our president was black, and we had a diverse student body. Dallas. Very awkward. I don't think it was ever really legal. Actually, I say that, but there might have been a time when it was. I'm no expert on Southern laws. When I was a kid, I asked my dad, what is a drazier? See, in elementary school, fundraisers always emphasize the word fun. So I thought that it was 2 words. Turns out it isn't. What? What a drazier is. Oh, fundraiser. Fundraisers. And always emphasize the word fun, so I thought it was 2 words. Oh, okay, I get it. How do sea eagles eat crabs if they can't cook them? Made me have second thoughts about the girl I was with. They're not sea eagles, they are animals. Sea eagles. I think she meant I forget what they're called too. 2 years after 9/11, an American colleague of mine during a conference in New York asked, did both towers fall? I shit you not. Did they? One did, the other dove to save its friends but failed miserably. I noticed that gas prices were going up rapidly, and so I told my girlfriend that she should go ahead and fill up her tank because she would get more fuel for her money if she waited a couple of days. Her reply was, oh, is that because of the power of the gasoline? I still don't know what she meant by that. In a class of second year of law school, we were debating a court decision, and a girl in the class apparently didn't agree with it, and asked of the judge who wrote it. Well, who is he to judge? Literally, the judge. Helped someone with their password, told them they needed to put in capitals, lowercase, etc. How do you capitalize numbers? There's really no way to salvage that conversation. How many quarters are there in football? Source, I asked this once. Quarters? Isn't there 4 quarters? At least 3, but I'm pretty sure not more than 5. I don't really get how that's a dumb question unless I'm missing something here. 2, the game has 4 quarters, but they always got 2 quarterbacks. I don't know, this is valid. When I was a kid and I switched from soccer to volleyball, I kept asking when it's halftime. Kids, volleyball has 2 to 3 games. Ooh. Will they ever make coffee flavored water? This was during discussion in nutrition class about flavored waters like Propel. I'm pretty sure that's a thing. If the earth is round, why can't see the curves? Because the world is gigantic. Working on a beach in the Grand Cayman, my brother. The question itself, maybe not so stupid. Can I please have 3 cups? The reason, she liked the various shades of blue in the water and wanted a cup for each color to fill and take home. He gave her the cups. For how long are plants pregnant? That's not how plants work. Let me preface this by saying that I know on a rational level that it's just someone making small talk to start a conversation. But if you start a conversation by asking me, what are you doing, when I'm in the middle of something painfully obvious, like standing at the kitchen sink up to my elbows in soapy water with a pile of dishes, yeah, you're going to get a snarky response 100% of the time. I mean, yeah, I guess he understands, and that's just a conversational starter. At work once, a new employee asked, do I really have to do this? This is literally your job. You were hired to come to work, so yes, you have to. The girl in my dental assistant class asked, do we get mercury from the planet Mercury? Legitimate question if you don't know much about space nor, elements and stuff. Are swords real? I've only seen them in movies. A girl I went to high school with. Her boyfriend also completely convinced her that Saturn was made from recycled melted down Legos in grade 11. While on Cocoa Beach looking at the Atlantic Ocean, classmate, wow, if we crossed the ocean, what do you think we'd run into? Africa? How do you know? I mean, it depends where you're at. I mean, I don't really know where the oceans are at either. I don't consider a question stupid until I've been asked it 4 or 5 times by the same person. That said, I get asked a lot of stupid questions. Why do you think about everything? That is the difference between me and you. You think about everything. I just do. Later on, this same individual had to join the army, no disrespect to the military, because he dropped out of community college, was $15,000 in credit card, had a daughter with his ex-girlfriend, and has spent so much time in retail that he has no applicable job skills outside of customer service. And I'm glad I'm not in customer service anymore. What is in frozen water? Ice. That's not water, that's ice. Ice is another... I mean, I guess there can be different kinds of ice. Like soda ice. It depends what you freeze, what kind of liquid freezes. I was out with twins. One was male and one was female. Passerby. Oh, you have twins? Are they identical? Probably not. Girl is 3rd semester in CS in college. What's a loop? When I tried to explain to her what she should do in a programming assignment. I have no idea how she passed classes up until that point. I don't know what a loop is. To be fair, I mean, I also wasn't in a class that required you to know something like that, I'd assume. To be fair, she was kind of drunk, but she said, "How did people on the bottom of the earth not fall?" and stopped. Probably because my jaw hit the core of the earth and she fell out the bottom. Advanced. I mean, what is the top of the earth? Is there even one? Now that I think about it, since, you know, gravity, everything that's pulled into the earth is technically on top. Advanced student in my class once asked whether Mount Rushmore was man-made or just naturally that way. That's funny. If humans evolved from apes, why are there still apes? Oh, you stupid idiot. A little backstory first. In my country, when we talk about traveling, especially to warmer countries, we call it going south. A girl I knew once asked, "But is the south open in the winter?" I left, and once I was out of earshot, I laughed so hard my ribs were sore for the rest of the day. Okay. I don't think I've ever read one this long before. And I think that's because Reddit, the app I use anyway, is probably just constantly loading more. I was like, man, I should have hit the bottom of the page by now. Have I really been reading this long? I was like, no, I just noticed it's been loading them automatically. It didn't used to do that last time I did these things. Okay, so that's it for this one. I'm not going to say these are going to return daily or anything, but I might do more of them. Just don't expect any kind of consistent schedule.